Hey BroadwayWorld fans, we're here at the Minskoff Theatre where The Lion King recently celebrated 20 glorious years on Broadway. The Disney tradition on Broadway kicked off in 1994 with the hit film-to-stage adaptation of Beauty and the Beast. Now it seems impossible to think of Broadway without seeing some of our most beloved animated films live in person. Just one more component that makes up the magic that's Disney. Today, we're heading backstage to chat with Stephen Carlile, who currently plays Scar, and hear about being a part of this iconic production. We'll also get a refresher on how he and the cast transform into the animals that make up The Lion King. Stephen, thanks for doing this. You're playing Scar in Broadway's Lion King. How's that been?
Oh, well, it's been absolutely fantastic. I've done 1 year now, I'm doing another year. I just love every second of it.
Sure, so were you a big fan of the film before taking on this role?
Well, that's weird that you should say that because it used to be me and my brother's favourite show of all time, favourite film. Okay. And we used to actually play Lion King on the landing, in our home. And I wouldn't recommend this to any children watching, but, I used to sort of grab him. He was Mufasa and I was always Scar for some reason. But and he'd be hanging off the landing and I'd say, "Long live the king," and then lift my arms and he'd tumble down the staircase,
Sure.
And it was like, great fun. But if I had children, I'd tell them, don't ever do that. And now it's like, whenever I go on stage, I think of that. I think of those moments,
Sure.
When I used to play The Lion King, and now I'm here doing it on Broadway. It seems very surreal and weird.
So had you seen the show before taking on the role?
Well, actually, no, I hadn't. And I don't think that's a terrible thing, actually. Well, because it opened when I was at drama school, and I just couldn't afford, to go and see a big show like that. I went to see, college shows and off West End things, but I never went to see big shows. And then just like, time goes on, and you just don't see it. And then I got the audition. And so I went in completely cold, which I think is actually brilliant, because if you see somebody playing, the character, then you go in with those ideas in mind, and you do a sort of enactment of that, a bit of a copy, of that. Even if you're trying not to, you've always got it in the back of your brain. So I went in, and I just did what I was what I did, and they were like, "No, that's absolutely right. That is sort of perfect."
Right.
Which was the King Herod song from Jesus Christ Superstar. Weird. I'd done it at the Abbey Road Studios on a compilation album, and my agent was there saying, if you ever get seen for The Lion King, you have to do that number. And then 3 years later, I went into this audition. I thought, well, I've got to sing that song. Right. And it just started, and I was just like really crooked. Like the song informed like the crookedness of the character, and then the panel were like, they were being inspiring by laughing, and they were with me, and so I just went further and further. I was opening doors and slamming them and all that. And they
well, you hadn't seen the show, and I hadn't seen the show, but what a great year to see it, being the 20th anniversary. What was it like being here for the actual 20th anniversary in November?
Well, it was terrifying. It was actually terrifying. Leading up to it, I thought everybody in the world is going to be there in that auditorium watching me. And I thought, that's terrible. But you know what? As soon as we walked on, the audience was electric. It was like a rock concert, and they were so inspiring, and, it was really wonderful. And Elton John was there, and Tim Rice and Julie, come back, he was talking to us. And it was amazing. And then we got to sing with Elton John just afterwards. And which was...
Everyone does, right?
Well, everyone sings with him.
I mean, well, we sang along with him.
Yeah, well, I spent my life singing along with him, and then suddenly he's there. And I'd never forget, because I was there, right in front of him, like dancing, because we're all there on stage, you've seen it. And he was singing Circle of Life, and he looked up at me, and he laughed, because he had this like 8-foot lion sort of just sidestepping, in front of him, right. Which I think he tickled him.
So having not seen the show, did you feel like you could make the role your own? I mean, people who have seen the show maybe multiple times, they sort of go in with an expectation of what they're going to see. How did you go about thinking through the role?
Well, they are brilliant at, John Stefani, who's the Associate Worldwide Director, he's brilliant at making it your own, just saying, what do you want to do with this character? And then you talk about it, and and the way I did it was with this character, and every character is different, but it's like, it was very much outside in, which is probably the wrong way around. But because of that audition, the crookedness of it, and they liking it, I was thinking, well, it's got to be, he's so broken, and he probably hurts a lot, hips, ankles, knees, everything like that. And I feel like he's got spores all over, pussy spores just dripping all over his body. He's a very ugly character. So it's like, how does that inform his character? Is he in pain? Why does he lash out so much?
Sure.
So it was very much that.
Well, part of it's told through the costume and the makeup, but then the other part is you as an actor having to bring it to life, right?
Yeah, exactly. And just that costume is like amazing.
Well, how funny. We happen to have one of the fabulous Lion King artifacts. Did you see that parlay there set up?
It's so beautiful, and it's so sort of cut in, and like, although it's sort of broken and you've got all these shafty bits coming out, it is very sort of tailored and elegant. And I feel like he's a bit of a narcissist, and he loves the way he looks, and loves the way he talks and the way he looks, and this is just like glorious, for any character like that.
Is it painful to be in?
When it's first made, so if ever I get a new costume, it's not the most it's not the most comfortable costume most of the time, but when it's new, like the leather is very hard. I'm rolling around the floor. You've seen me play. It's very physical. Like, I'm on the floor, I'm getting up very quickly, and if it's a new chaps, we call these the chaps. If they're new, then it's quite difficult.
So it's a very mean animal, but I hear you have a very sweet new animal at home. Do tell.
We adopted a dog called Sugar. Oh my God, I can't believe how much I love her. It's brilliant. Me and my wife, we were kind of looking for a dog. We heard Bernadette Peters talking about Broadway Barks, and we just thought we got to adopt one. She's just beautiful.
What kind of dog?
She's like a Shih Tzu with like various glorious magical bits in her, like a dachshund and like things. I don't know. She's so gorgeous.
You'll bring her into the show.
What?
You'll bring her into the show.
I do. I bring her into the dressing room, and she sits there. Everyone loves her. My dresser loves her. Teresa, she's all great. But I worry sometimes that the door isn't completely shut. And when I'm doing Be Prepared, I just have a little look around just to make sure she doesn't run onto the stage.
People would say, wow, that is one of the best costumes we've seen.
Actually, she was out for a walk the other day, and an audience member said, "Is she in the show?"
That's great. So you got to get done up and all of this costume and the makeup. But tonight we're going to get to see how you get the makeup and how you become Scar, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we head backstage and have a look?
Great. Okay. Yes, let's go.